I think I'll start with open the effing straight, you crazy bastards, or you'll be living in hell. And then at the end, maybe throw in, praise be to Allah.
Today, the United States held peace negotiations with Iran. But then just an hour ago, President Trump posted, if Iran doesn't agree to peace, the greatest military of all time, ours, will F Iran right up their Strait of Hormuz. Assalamu alaikum.
It began as an ordinary comedy night, but quickly escalated into a televised roast, so precise and cutting it felt like it could interrupt a political speech mid-flow. One moment it was light sketches, and the next it seemed like the writers had discovered an entirely new level of audacity no one had prepared for. The makeup looked eerily on point. The timing felt almost intentional, and every punchline landed like it had been rehearsed in secrecy. What unfolded wasn't just comedy, it was humor used as payback, carefully disguised as entertainment.
I don't know if you remember, but I flipped my car and got a DUI.
Oh, right, a Dewey. As in, do we drive on pills? Yes, he do.
That's a good one, Mr. President.
You should have told the cops we were friends. They would have let you off.
Well, I did, and they didn't.
If only there was some.
If you're enjoying the content, consider subscribing to the channel. It genuinely makes a difference. The Oval Office appeared less like a global command center and more like a chaotic late-night call hub where every conversation spiraled out of control despite the presidential seal. Phones kept ringing, confidence stayed oddly high, and rational thinking seemed to take an extended break from duty.
Don't worry about that, Caroline. Like I said to Pam Bondi and Kristi Noem right before I fired them, you're doing a terrific job.
Thank you, sir. I love you too.
All three of those were played by Ashley. It's an interesting detail.
Amid the unfolding chaos, Colin Jost and Michael Che moved through the situation like two people who realized the material had already gone completely off the rails, so they might as well push it further into full absurdity. It all started with what felt like a casual brainstorming session for a questionable social media post. The president paced around, tossing out ideas that sounded less like a communication plan and more like experiments in how many reactions one sentence could provoke. The press secretary stood there absorbing everything, nodding in that uncertain way people do when they can't tell if they're witnessing brilliance or a slow unraveling. Discussions about tone floated around, but the tone itself shifted unpredictably between overconfidence and misplaced sarcasm about religion, as if subtle communication had been completely removed from the room.
President Trump did genuinely issue a post threatening to destroy Iran's entire civilization and then ended with the phrase, praise be to Allah. And I know that almost makes Trump sound like he is a radical terrorist, but remember, Trump has already been to a paradise with 72 virgins.
President Trump said in his speech that the Strait of Hormuz would open up naturally, but if it doesn't, the Marines will deploy a little bit of spit.
Colin Jost leaned into the moment like he had been waiting all week to break it apart, pointing out how praise for the press secretary came layered with backhanded humor that only made sense when compared to previous dismissals treated like outdated devices. The joke didn't just land, it expanded, settled in, and became part of the environment. Before there was time to process that, another call came in, and the Oval Office suddenly transformed into an unexpected sports hotline. Trump reached out to Tiger Woods, not with formal professionalism, but with the casual tone of someone casually checking in while still ensuring it became a headline. The conversation drifted through the Masters, slipped into uncomfortable references about personal struggles, and casually landed on a rehabilitation facility in Switzerland, as if it were just another travel destination.
Now, there are a lot of important things happening in the world right now, and I have to make some urgent phone calls.
Hello?
Tiger, it's Donald. What's going on, buddy? Are you playing in the Masters this weekend?
The exchange became a strange reflection of how reality had grown so layered that even a simple phone call felt like part of a larger comedic storyline. Then came a call from Melania that raised the unpredictability even further. She pushed to release a statement not in response to any question or controversy, but completely unprompted, denying involvement in matters no one had raised. The randomness hung in the air like an unfinished punchline. Jost broke it down with sharp precision, highlighting how unnecessary denials often create new questions out of thin air.
You think I should type praise be to Allah, and that's from you, the President of the United States?
Yes, Allah. They say Allah. It's a sarcastic attack on the world's largest religion. They famously have a great sense of humor about that kind of stuff.
As your press secretary, this puts me in a tough position.
The humor came naturally from the odd structure, rather than exaggeration. Meanwhile, the Oval Office phone kept delivering unexpected turns, now shifting into a military briefing that felt even less structured than everything before it.
President Trump posted plans for his presidential library in Miami, which would be a massive golden skyscraper with a golden escalator and a golden statue of Trump, as predicted in the book of Revelations. President Trump attended the opening night of Chicago at the Kennedy Center, and I think
Trump's discussion about Iran unfolded with confident but scattered reasoning, touching on military action, the possibility of reinstating a draft, and negotiation strategies built from loosely connected ideas. It was framed like a geopolitical strategy session that drifted into improvisation. Jost pointed out the irony of sending someone to negotiate only for the outcome to seemingly reinforce the opposite result. By the time the press briefing began, the tone had already shifted into something unusual, and the responses followed a pattern that felt increasingly detached from grounded logic. The repeated insistence of barely knowing Epstein contrasted sharply with widely circulated visual evidence, creating a contradiction that almost invited comedic interpretation. Jost treated it like a puzzle missing key pieces, while Che approached it as a lesson in selective memory.
Oh, wait, who's this? I don't recognize the number. Hello?
Hello, Donald.
Melania, you're calling me? That's not a good sign.
Listen, I decided I should do a big, random speech completely out of nowhere and say, I am not Epstein.
The humor came not from exaggeration, but from letting the contradictions stand on their own. Each answer added another layer of disbelief. Then came an unexpected shift, the suggestion that multiple timelines might explain inconsistencies, turning the entire exchange into something resembling a science fiction concept. Without hesitation, Che leaned into the idea with full commitment, exploring the notion that alternate versions of events might exist where everything aligns properly. But unfortunately, this wasn't one of them.
we'll reassign Kristi Noem to be Special Envoy for the Shield of the Americas, which is a brand new department located on a farm upstate. The CIA is reportedly working to arm local militias in Iran with the hopes that they will lead an uprising.
He grounded it by pointing out that using multiverse logic might be the most creative way to avoid confronting reality. Trump's announcement about the Epstein files added another surreal layer, especially with the idea of monetizing their release, turning it into something resembling a commercial product launch. Jost framed it as a pay-per-view style event, while Che compared it to an unwanted subscription model. The humor came from how even serious topics could be repackaged like marketing material. Just when it seemed the sketch had peaked, a final twist arrived in the form of a presidential turkey pardon that surpassed everything before it. The turkey, normally tied to a light holiday tradition, suddenly carried implications that shifted the tone into unexpectedly darker comedy.
What? Pete, it's President Trump. What's up? What's up? Remember that in the 90s?
Sorry, Mr. President, I didn't know it was you. It just said unknown caller. So I figured I'd just answer and say a couple military secrets.
That's wonderful. That's great. So what's the latest on that?
Jost treated it like a reveal that forces a reevaluation of everything that came before, while Che pointed out how ending such chaos with a cheerful holiday gesture felt almost surreal. Rather than exaggerating the moment, they highlighted it just enough for its strangeness to speak for itself. What made it even more striking was how smoothly everything flowed, with each moment naturally building into the next while steadily raising the stakes. By the end, it became clear this wasn't just comedy. It was a way of processing unpredictability through humor because stopping didn't feel like an option. The momentum never slowed, as each escalation felt inevitable rather than forced.
President Trump said that he should be involved in choosing Iran's next supreme leader. So congrats to new supreme leader Ayatollah Jared Kushner. Trump announced that he will attend the White House Correspondents' Dinner, which will be hosted by famous mind reader Oz Perlman. Big deal, even I can read Trump's mind.
Che leaned further into the chaos by letting it unfold naturally, as though it had its own unstoppable momentum. The Oval Office continued hosting conversations that felt more like accidental group chats influencing major decisions. A noticeable detail even emerged, a rash appearing on President Trump's neck just above the collar. Jost highlighted how the setting was meant for historic announcements, but repeatedly produced moments better suited for late-night comedy. Chi added that even the furniture deserved an apology for everything it had witnessed, subtly turning the environment itself into a silent participant in the chaos. As callbacks built up, earlier conversations echoed through the narrative, making everything feel more interconnected. Che noted that when intensity keeps rising, content eventually stops mattering and only spectacle remains, tying together earlier brainstorming moments with everything that followed. The Tiger Woods conversation resurfaced again, not as an isolated event, but as part of a broader pattern of misplaced priorities. Chi pointed out how personal check-ins and official responsibilities had become so blurred that serious roles could suddenly shift into casual exchanges without warning. He suggested that unpredictability had become the only consistent factor, turning everything into an ongoing experiment. Jost added dry humor by implying silence might be the safest option, but also the least likely one to be chosen. The military briefing, filled with fragmented logic and confident delivery, became another key focus.